Welcome to the Death of a Dream. I'm your host, Hanna Nuss. Hey yo! I love podcasting more than I probably should, more than most people would likely recommend. But it is my favorite thing of all the things. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to ground ourselves in our greatness. My great thing from yesterday was just completing some things. And we're almost done with the minimalist playroom makeover, which I'm so excited to show before and afters because, And, talking with my kids about what they wanted this space to be. And last night, letting them experience it, seeing them kind of come alive and thrive in that space, even though it's not all the way done, it's getting close. It was amazing. And it was exactly what I pictured because we just didn't use that space at all. And we definitely didn't use it for what it was for. I mean, my kids would constantly be taking toys out of there to come and play in the living room, not in the playroom. And so, and when I say playroom, this is what I have to tell you. I do not live in some fancy mansion where playrooms exist and all the things, right? And my house is large and I'm very blessed, but by large, I mean the square footage of my garage is actually larger than my house. So we have a big garage, strangely. I don't know, the people before us, it was a thing. Okay, but we have just a makeshift playroom, which really is like a remodeled sun porch. And so it's not really all that useful in Iowa winter. But it works. It's fine. It's a separate space where we can at least store the things. And prior to having, oh, thanks, Kelly. You're so nice. Prior to having this space assigned, right, all of those things were kind of in our live space and it became a lot. We have 2 kids, things pile up fast. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. If your kids haven't come of age yet, you'll soon realize, and no matter what you do, it doesn't really seem to matter. You can pack, you can say, we're not going to buy toys, this isn't going to be a thing. You will end up with a lot if you're not careful. So I'm just saying, forewarning for all of you, it happens faster than you think and you don't even realize it. And we're like toy mongers and we say, okay, that's too much. And we always try to get rid of stuff and nothing can protect you from this happening. It just happens. So yesterday we almost completed the toy room makeover and I will show photos when it's done. I'm hoping to finish it all the way today. But yesterday it was just about like taking that time and really committing to getting that done. And I wanted to do a million other things, but this one has kind of been looming and it just needed to get checked off the list. So it's getting close. It will hopefully be done today and then it will be fully checked. Got it? Check, check, check. So that was my great thing from yesterday. Go ahead and take time for yourself to recognize yourself for your own great thing. You can't not do it. It has to be done. Like, what do you feel great about that you did yesterday, that you did this week, that you did anytime, really? So I want you to go ahead and start doing that. And it can just be this mindful practice where you're speaking it out loud. Maybe it's on a commute. Maybe it's, as you're walking to work. If you're doing it walking into work, just be mindful of who's around you. Because if you're talking to yourself, I don't know how rumors spread where you are, but they spread quickly where I live. So just be mindful of your surroundings. If you're talking to yourself, if you want to talk to yourself on your commute, a great way to kind of cover that up is to just throw in like an AirPod, and you don't even have to be listening to anything, but it could just look like maybe you're talking. And now that there are like car phones, oh my God, car phone. So I'm like imagining my mom's car phone that was in a bag that was in our car, which we would have never had money to do that. But my mom was a Mary Kay consultant, and she actually got to the level where you got the vehicle, and with that vehicle came a car phone. And I am telling you, we could never use it because we would have never had money to be able to call on it. But my mom had a car phone, and it was in a bag, and it zipped, and it had the orange button. It was all things amazing, and I felt so bougie at that point because they'd just be like, oh my gosh, yeah, call my mom on her car phone. But we couldn't call on it. But in our minds, we had a car phone. Okay, so take time, do that. Just put it into your everyday routine, but make sure that you're taking time to recognize yourself for the great things that you're accomplishing, because you are. You are. I don't even care. I'm not even debating it anymore. You're doing it. So yesterday when I was getting ready for the day, I kind of had this thought of like, my life is really ruled by this idea of not being, of like, do not. I have this long list of things that I cannot be, that I'm not supposed to do. And I know that this list followed me around through my life, that it was like, don't speak up, don't be loud, don't be, and most of the don't be's in my life revolved around things that I was actually really good at, but that people would just kind of tell me like, I don't know if you could ever do anything with that. You should probably go ahead and keep that under wraps. Like, don't be that. Okay? Don't speak up. Don't be the loud one. Don't be the funny one. Don't be. And the list would continue to follow me around. And I would adopt these things, and then I think we continue to add to it, right? So then it's like, don't be fat. Don't be ugly. Don't be, right? Like, load on the makeup. And so these don'ts really started to control what would be my adult life. Don't be lazy. Don't be, let's see, what else? Don't be a bad mom. Don't be a bad cook. I cannot avoid that one. I'm really bad at cooking. If someone could come and help me, maybe that's who I need to interview on our next show, is like someone who's got cooking down, okay? I can cook. It just doesn't taste good. 9 times out of 10. 9.5 times out of 10. Like, I don't even know that I get a full point, because most of the time it doesn't taste good. Okay. But these don'ts, this idea of don't, really followed me around all the time. And so don'ts would run my life. It would be like, okay, I'm going to do this because I don't want to be ugly. I'm going to go ahead and fill my face with makeup because I don't want to be ugly. I'm going to go ahead, and I was doing things that maybe didn't even speak to who I was or what I wanted to be, and not to villainize makeup. It's an amazing thing. Trust wearing some. But like, why do we make all of our decisions based on what we shouldn't be and not what we could be or what we want to be? I think more importantly, what we want to be. Let's start making decisions based on what we want to be, instead of making most of our decisions based on what we're trying to avoid. Don't be old. Don't have wrinkles. Don't gain weight. I don't know. What are some of the don'ts that come up in your mind that really run your life, that run a majority of the things that you do? What are those things for you? Mine were like, don't age. Don't have dark colored hair. If you're looking at me right now, obviously I have dark colored hair. And these don'ts followed me around from my youth, followed me around and regenerated themselves into adulthood. But they really lie around a lot of similar things. And I think our speaker last week or 2 weeks ago with Mia when she talked about anti-diet and that culture, think of how much you say to yourself revolves around don't when it comes to eating, working out, maintaining your body, right? It's a lot of shame. A lot of shame. Mostly shame is how I would run my life. And that's that don't conversation, right? That's don't do that. Don't eat bad. Don't miss a workout. Don't let your body go. Don't trust yourself, right? And that shame culture makes us feel unsteady, right? When we're running ourselves with this idea of don't, we feel shaky. We need help. We need guidance. We become reliant on everybody else and never ourselves. And so much of what we talk about here on this podcast really is about listening to yourself and your own needs. And I think don'ts and don't culture really come from a lot of different places, but they don't come from us. Mine don't age, don't have wrinkles, which I can't avoid these forehead wrinkles. They can't go away. I don't even think that I could afford anything that could get rid of these. They're deep. They reach down into my soul. They speak my truth, right? And that was one of the don'ts that went around my life. Don't show up like this. Don't show that emotion on your face. Hanna, I can tell that you're thinking something. I can tell that this isn't sitting right with you. I can tell on your face. Be less of that face. And I can't take it off. I can't take it off. Sorry, that's like a TikTok thing. Welcome. Okay. And so much of these ideas ran my life. And so for a little while in my adulthood, don't owned the day. Don't owned all of my day, and I would kind of shame cycle myself into this world of operation. Hey, don't show up like that. Hey, don't have that face here. So then it was like, okay, blank face, don't react, don't speak, don't hardly show up, don't ask questions, just sit. You're lucky to have a seat here. Just sit, just be good, just take it in and don't have any thoughts, and definitely don't react. Okay. This goes against everything that I know that I am, but if I'm going to fit here, if this is going to be where I end up, then we got to just play the game. We got to play by the rules. We have to do these things. And all the while, I'm slowly silencing myself. And by slow, I mean fast. And by fast, I mean every day I grew more and more silent. And it's funny because this is the exact opposite of how I'm called to show up in this world, right? Noise, loudness, emotion, facial expressions literally are the lifeblood of who Hanna Nuss is. I can't show up in this world as something else. And so the fact that I was running my life by these don'ts, these things that I had been told to not show up as, don't show your emotion, don't be that girl, don't be loud in the meeting, don't speak up, don't do that, really worked against and started to close in me, right? And I think that that's really what the world is trying to get us to do, to question that, to say, it's safer over here, right? Safer to just be this person, safer to just control all C, I don't know, PCs, copy paste, right? Oh, they did it, which is essentially why mentors are helpful. Is they can show you exactly what they did, exactly how they did it, and then you can just copy paste and go have that same experience. The only place where that misserves you is that you can't be that person. You don't have the same experiences. You don't have the same background. You don't have all the same things. So that will misserve you at some point. You can go along with it, right? You can be like me. You can cover those things up. You can say that this is how I have to show up, and I'm going to have to be okay with just being this person because that's who they're asking me to be. This is who I'm supposed to be, right? Or you can start saying, I don't want to be controlled by this don't anymore. I want to work in a world of do. I want to work in a world of what I want, what I believe to be good about me, who I want to show up in this world as. Because that person comes alive. They feel, they fight, they move. And even if you're not as highly in tune to that emotional state, even if you can't tap into that, how I want you to move through this is really listening to what you're saying around the things that you're doing every day, right? Is it a don't culture or is it a do culture? Are you moving through life in ways that allow you to move or that hold you back? Because I think a lot of times, and this is the easiest to kind of come to terms with people on, a lot of times when we're thinking about diet culture, since we just talked about that not that long ago, think about how you talk to yourself when you're going to eat. Is it do or mostly don't? Right? Because I want to be like, do enjoy dessert. Do go out to eat. But a lot of times it would sound like, don't get the dessert. Oh, no. Oh, no, don't. Because don't be that girl. Right? Don't eat the cookie. For goodness sakes, don't eat the cookie. You cannot. If you have another cookie from that place, like this may be one of the reasons that I left my last job. I can't eat any more monster cookies at that job. It's going to be bad for me. It's bad for my health. They taste so good in that moment that I feel terrible later, but they're so good. Right? I'm just saying. But so much of diet culture, so much of that life really revolves around that idea, right? That you shouldn't, that you can't, that you don't, and you shouldn't. And that's how life should work. And that's how you should be ran, right? Run. Run from it. Run from what you think you should be. Run. Run as hard and as fast as you possibly can. And then when you're done running, be less. Be smaller. Right? Mostly be small. Don't be you. Don't be that person. Shame. Shame wrecks around that person. Do not be her. Don't. And what I really, really, really want you to get in touch with today is how much of the things you do revolve around don't. Don't show up like that. Don't sit in that meeting. Don't talk in that meeting. Just sit here. Just take notes. Just take it in. Right? And like, I would go to those meetings and I would be told those things. Hey, shh, it's okay. Just sit. Just don't just take it in. Right? And I would sit there and then I'd come back and I'd just be like exploding with ideas because I couldn't speak in real time. I had no voice there. And the truth of the matter was, I never had a voice at all. In fact, I had anything but. I had been silencing myself and my voice and telling myself that that person was no good. Don't be that girl. Don't do that. Don't eat the cake. Don't miss a workout. Don't not run today. Don't enjoy this. Don't speak up. Don't interject. Don't react. Don't react. Don't react. Don't make that face. Can you just sit here without a facial expression? Everyone's going to appreciate that more if you do that. Can you just please do that for us? Can you be that person? And so that's what you do. You start to shift. You start to change. You start to show up how you're being asked to show up. Whether that feels good or not, we stop trusting that, right? We stop trusting what feels good. We stop listening to what we want because we're told that that's not possible. Like, all the time. All the time. How many times have you told someone, like, fearlessly, really trusted them? Like, oh my gosh, I have this idea. And I think it's the coolest idea ever. And this is what I want to do. And this is how I want to do it. And then what happens next? I don't know. If you're anything like me, this like shame parade follows next of like, yeah, well, you could, except for that would be crazy, except for you really can't, except for that's really only in a dream world and we don't live there, sister. But then I got to thinking, so many people are living their dream lives. So many people. I see them all the time, right? Not physically, but I see them in places. And they're like I watch a movie and I'm like, oh my gosh, Denzel Washington, I bet this is exactly what he wanted to do. Why did he get to do this? Why does he get to live his dream life and I don't, right? And then I start cycling through their stories. Then I start reading more and really diving in. And I realize their stories are much crazier than mine, right? Come from much lower depths than anything that I'd have to overcome. So why can't I? Right? So then I just start writing down what would be the dream culture of what I wanted to do. Of like, we're not accepting don't anymore. We're not letting that run our lives. Don't doesn't own us. If I want to wear makeup and I want to get dressed up, that's what I'm going to do. If I don't want to, that's what I'm going to do. But we aren't like saying things to run our lives that sound like, don't be that ugly today. Just try not to. Just don't be that person. Don't be ugly. Just don't. Don't age. Do not age. Okay? Do not have wrinkles. Do not have imperfections. Please don't. Please don't. Right? So I did the same thing with my dreams. Hannah, we can't listen to don't speak up. We can't. You have been given this voice. You've been given this gift. I remember being in my public speaking classes and everyone freaking out. And me being like, okay, I'm supposed to freak out, right? I should be freaking out now. Okay, let's freak out. I can't do it. This isn't scary for me. This is really cool for me. And so then I start to like, okay, I start to figure out that it's really weird to be different. It's really hard to be different. It's really hard to go against the grain. And so I just show up and I'm like, okay, I'm scared of this too. Yeah, public speaking. Oh my gosh, do we really have to give a speech? Yikes. This class is terrible. I don't want to do this class. And meanwhile, I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. If I could do anything, this is what it would be. But I kind of just closed that down because that wasn't really on the table for me, right? And I start to realize and show up in this place of just don't be that girl. It's not even possible for you. So be whatever everyone else is telling you. And when everyone else is telling you what to do, that's where don't comes in, because you're really ruling your life according to someone else's rules. And I think the coolest thing about being an adult is that you get to make up your own. You get to make up your own rules. I'm not even kidding you. Like if you don't want to go to church, but your parents always went to church, you could just not go to church. Seriously. You can. I know. I'm telling you things I shouldn't be telling you. Okay, so say that you grew up and everyone that you knew went on to be pig farmers, because that makes total sense, and my audience is mostly female, and there's probably a lot of pig farmers here. There's not a chance there's a pig farm. If you are a pig farmer and you're listening to this right now and you don't message me, the world's gone crazy. Okay, so say that everyone you know has done that job your whole life, and you kind of wake up and have this Coco moment. Okay, if you've never seen the movie Coco, please rent it, get on Disney Plus, wherever you have to be, watch the movie Coco. So you have this Coco moment and you're like, I don't like the pigs. I really don't. They're gross. They're kind of weird. They have like weird bulges that I didn't know until I got up close and personal with a pig the other day. And I don't want to do it. I can't. And everyone around you is saying, no, you can't really be successful doing anything else. But here's the thing. They wouldn't know. They can't guide you. They don't know. They can tell you that, which is probably true, because they don't know what it's like to show up as anything but a pig farmer, which is beautiful, right? There's so much beauty in passing on a legacy, in handing those things down, but that doesn't mean that you should just lay down and go, well, everybody's a pig farmer, so I guess that's what I'm going to be. So when you're reframing your mind, I really want you to think about the things that you want and no longer run your life according to the things that you don't want, right? Pay attention on what you do want. And I will tell you, there's no way to pass out of aging. There's no way to pass out of how you just generally look. And why? Why fight it? Why turn away from it? There's something so beautiful in every single ounce of who you are, how you age, how you show up, who you become. And if there's a call for you to go do something, be something else, be original, do something different, don't ignore it. Don't allow people to do not those things into an existence like I did, right? You know, because I think a lot of times people can actually sense your superpower, and if they're threatened by it, they'll try to shut it down. And it'll sound a lot like what I just explained for the last half hour. Do not do that. Do not do that. And they'll claim and assign it to things that they're trying to protect you from, right? But it's really just a disempowerment opportunity. Shutting down those superpowers. So, today, I want you to listen, right? Listen to where the do nots come up. Listen to what they're saying to you. Listen to how they're running your life right now. And listen to who's saying them to you. Right? Start paying attention to those voices that are influencing you, that are changing you, that are shifting you, that are moving you. because they aren't always guiding you with your best interests. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world.